Ciao, I'm Mario, a Swiss car guy on YouTube, and this is a companion video to another video I made about the install of a 360-degree camera kit in my 2008 Porsche Cayman S. In this video I will specifically show you how to install the cameras inside the mirrors and the connectors and everything it took. It's very detailed. If you just want to see the broad installation or just know how it works, watch the other video. This one is really for the nerds or for the poor souls trying to attempt them themselves. So please enjoy the presentation. Here's the driver's side mirror on my workbench. It's very easy to remove. It's just these three bolts that I put back in so that I don't lose them. And now the target is to, disassemble the mirror so that I can install the camera down here and route the cable through this connector. So yeah, it's not super hard to disassemble, but it's not that nice, to be honest. So we will start by removing the mirror glass, the actual mirror. So this requires some force. Come on, come on. It's not out completely. Come out. Okay, now it is. Up. The mirror is then held on by the cable for the mirror heating. Yeah, because my car only has heated mirrors. It doesn't have automatically dimming mirrors, because if it had automatically dimming mirror, there would be another connector that goes like in here and would sort of connect to the glass, I reckon. But my car doesn't have it, so the top one is the green one. Sometimes they don't want to come off. It's the first time in 16 years probably it's been off. You can see here the mirror motor. Yeah, I think this is the actual motor. It's one housing. It's held on by three screws here, here, and here. And they are Torx something. They are Torx exactly what I have in here, which is T10. So let me undo these. This should all be loose, so I can just take it off. Like this, good. There is the connector still, and it's very dirty. Okay, let's get the connector off. Come on. Yep, it's coming. Yes. There we have it, one mirror motor. Nice and self-contained. Now there is this back plate here that is basically just a plate that holds the motor. So this comes out, it's 4 screws. Let's get them out. They're still the same T10. All the screws are out. This plate should now come off after a bit of wiggling because it's been here. Okay, here it is, one dirty plate. This goes into the sink. Now there's basically just 2, actually 3 screws holding the mirror, the top and the bottom mirror housing onto these 2 rails. And it's one here, and one here. Start with this one. All the screws are now out, so these 2 halves should now separate. Yeah, starting to come apart. Maybe I should use a plastic wedge to help it along. I think it's pretty much apart. I should be able to take it off. One top housing is gone. The bottom half just requires some pulling. There are the cables that come along here. So this should just work. Because I removed the screw, so I can just wiggle it. And let's see if the cable don't get caught. Again, it's off with a lot of dirt falling out of it. Again, very dirty thing, needs to be cleaned. And this is where we will drill into to fit the camera. And I actually made a little template from the other one I previously did. Let's see if that fits. But first, this needs to be cleaned. Okay, I'm back. Now is the question, we need to drill through this thing. And I made a template previously because I tried out with a little mock-up, half a cork from a wine bottle. I mounted the mirror, put the cork in here to see whether the camera would fit, because I wasn't sure the camera would fit at all, because you stick this in here and it will be like this, and this part will protrude. And these are not the largest mirrors, so I had to do mock-ups, but I already did it on the other mirror, and I made a little template which should basically tell me where to go. This is the actual template side. I think if I flip it around, it should work towards, well, it actually works perfectly. The hole is here that I need to make. Let's mark it. So now I know I need to put a hole here. And I will do first a smaller pilot hole with my smallest wood drill bit and go through. Relatively clean hole, but you know, I need to go in with the bigger saw. So next up, the kit comes with the hole saw in the proper size. So I will use my new hole as the guide and then just drill through it. Through. That's rather clean. I'll just give it a quick clean. I'll be right back. So this has been cleaned. It's sort of a nice enough clean hole. The supplied hole saw did the job quite well. I mean, this is plastic, it's not very hard to cut, but then again it made a nice cut, and I know it's the right size. And also I cleaned my leftover headliner from the Trans Am, which I use here to protect the paint finish and makes the worktop a bit nicer. So now the camera is fastened through a grommet. So there are actually two sizes of grommets supplied with the kit. You have the nice shallow one and the thicker one. For example, if you put the shallow one on, which comes with a bit of wire apparently, the shallow one, the camera will sit more inwards, and with the thicker one, the camera will come out more from under the mirror, and it is angled. I don't know if you can see it. You can turn it and then change the angle of the camera by this. For these mirrors, I need to use the thick one, because if I use the shallow one here, the camera will protrude too far, and the mirror, the two halves won't fit together anymore. So I need to use the thick one. And I set them up in a way that I think the thick part is towards the car. Let me put it in. Grommet is in. Let's see, let's get it nicely seated inside. This is good. Oh, is it? Now it's nicely seated. All the way around, nicely seated inside. This is the grommet, and now I can put the camera in. And the camera goes in from below. So I aim it towards the outside of the car. This is probably exactly the way it should be. And then let's push it in. Oh, yuck. And this is how it's going to sit. And you see, with the thick grommet, it barely protrudes. So it's about, I would say the thickest, it's about 8 millimeters or so. With the other one, it's over centimeters, and then it's just not enough space, because when you put the two halves together, the upper mirror half has like a flat section that covers this part. And if you don't put on the thick grommet, then it doesn't go on, or it pushes the camera down, which also looks bad. So this is the way it has to be with these small Porsche 987 mirrors. Okay, this then sticks into the cable and stuff. So before I reassemble everything, I need to do the job I don't really like, and that is this. Cutting the cable and splicing in the connectors. These things here. The little connectors, so I can actually connect it through the connector of the mirror, because if I put this away, this is the connector where all the connections to the mirror go through. So electric motors, heating if you have it, the dimming. And you see there are quite a bit of empty holes there that you can put new pins in. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use probably connector 6, 7, 8 and 14 for the 4 wires I need to connect through, and do the same on both sides. But for this connector has to come off now. The wires are off, but they are still held in back here because there's like a strain relief, I believe, that I need to get off. That's a bit of a task. Now the cables are loosey-foosey, floppy, so I just need to undo the connector and then I can pull it all out. And the connector uses smaller Torx, I reckon. It's this one, right? Yes, it is a Torx 9. Now this will lift out and drag the whole cable with it. Since there is a connector on this end, I will not drag the entire cable through the opening. I think it would work, but it's not necessary. I just need to access the back of the connector here, because this is where I have to put the new pins in. Here we have the rubber weather protection behind the connector that you can basically pull out, lever out, whatever, to gain access to the connector, to the insides of the connector. And once you lift this out, you can see the back of the connector, hopefully. So the idea is the new cables, you push them through here, and then you terminate them in here with a DuPont connector, with a proper connector. I bought the connectors from DigiKey. I think these are the female ones and these are the male ones. So in the mirror I need the male ones, and on the other side I need the female ones. These are of course DuPont connectors, so you will need a very fine DuPont crimper, because the cables in the camera are very fine and these connectors are very small. So I use the smallest one I have, the 0.25, I think, millimeter squares. This is not an expensive tool, it's probably not even a good one, and I'm not very good at crimping, but you know, I bought 25 each of these, and I think I will need each and every one to do the 4 wires I need to do. But yeah, this is anyway open. I can unwind this so I can get this further back. Give me a bit more room. Okay, so I put this to the side because now I need to work on the cables, which means cutting the cables, stripping them, and then crimping on connectors, which is something I really don't like to do, but what can I do? Okay, so this is the end that goes to the camera, and I plan to have this one in the mirror and then go to the connector, so that within the mirror I can still disconnect the camera if I need to replace it or if I need to do anything with it. So I need to cut a piece of this wiring loom off so that I can actually this and then thread this through the mirror. So I think this has to go like from, let's say, here all the way down to here. So I reckon this is the good size. I will cut it there. Okay, this is the end that goes inside the car. This is the end that goes inside the mirror. Also, this comes with an additional wire, this red one. This is supposed to connect to the car's indicators, so that when you indicate, the camera receives a signal and automatically switches on to give you like a better side view. But in my case, I'm not going to use this because this goes inside the mirror and I don't have an indicator in the mirror. So this is basically useless and it just takes up space. So I'm going to cut it off and then tape it off. Okay. I want to point out that the camera wire does also have like a foil insulation around it, so it's not the worst. Okay, this leaves us with, well, sort of 4 wires. Because one's not a wire, one's is like shielding for the video signal, but we will need that as well. So I am twisting this nicely into a wire shape. And I should actually isolate it somehow, but I don't know why. Okay. So let's remove the isolation on these. And with these little buggers, it's very important to make sure that when you crimp them, you don't crimp the top part here. Because this top part here is what secures the pin in the connector. So if you crush that one, it won't fit in the connector, or it won't stay there, it will get loose. So you just crimp the very back part. And these cables are tiny, and also I am kind of getting blind. So it's very hard for me to figure out whether I crimped them properly or not. And also I find that crimping, especially these with the pliers I have, it's not that easy. So I tend to kind of pre-push these a little bit so that they fit better in the pliers when I push them in. And now let's see how well this works. Oh, this looks nicely crimped. I hope you can see it, but this is pretty much perfectly crimped. And it also holds. It doesn't have any stray wires as far as I can see. So this is about as good as I get it. And I have to do it 3 more times here, and then 4 more times on the other side. So hooray! I'll probably just speed through this because you don't need to see it. You've seen one and it looks good, and now let's do the others. Damn. Not a good crimp. I mean, it might still work. No, it came off. Again, good thing I bought many more connectors than I thought I needed. Now, this is a nice crimp. Yes. Nice. Now I only have to crimp the shielding in. The shield needs to be connected as well, because otherwise you're gonna have some problems with quality and interferences. The thing is, this is an unshielded cable, so if it connects with if it touches one of these, then you short it. So let's see how well this works. And also, because this one has no isolation which I can crimp the connector on, I am going to probably, double fold it or something like this, so I have a bit more to hold on to, because otherwise this thin wire just isn't enough in my book. These are my 4 crimp connections, which I think they are kind of okay. I ordered 25 each of these, and now I have left of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 left. I did 8 connections in total, so I wasted about 9. I wasted 9 pieces because I didn't make good crimps, because I'm not a very experienced crimper. So yeah, I have a few left, and also if you need them, I will put all the information below. These are from DigiKey. They are from TE Connectivity, Tyco Electronics. So they are the right connectors for the right pins for this connector, I have to say. And of course, there's also the female ones. The white one will go into the 14. So let's do the white one first, because that's the top one. Let's push it through the rubber, so it has a nice insulation. This is through. Now they're through the rubber grommet, but I need to push them into the connector at the right spot. It actually doesn't matter which pins you use, but you need to just remember which ones they are so that you can connect it afterwards. So let's push this in. This is 6, and this is 7, and this is 8. Oh, come on. I just put them in loosely and I've pushed them in afterwards when they're all like loosely in. Okay, let's see. Can I push one through? This one I can push through. Boop. This is now seated and made a nice click, and now it is it is nice and firmly seated, it won't be pushed back. Let's push another one through, maybe this one. Let's push this in its place. Just there. Yeah, it's a bit of a fiddly job, I have to say that, but it's something you don't do every day, so. Come on, ah, there it is. Let's see if I can grab it and pull it through. Yes. Not yet. Yep. Yep, it's in. Good. Let's do the same for the yellow one. Now it's seated. Yep, that was a positive click. Ah, nice. Okay. So here we are. All the pins are through. Well, first I'll slide the rubber down. The rubber insulator against moisture. It's probably weather stripping. Oh, nothing cut. Let's push this on like this. Let's give it a little tug just to make sure. Let's push it on, maybe with the help of some tools. Make sure it's nice and snug. Good. There's quite a bit of exposed cable. Maybe I should. I mean, it's the same thing here. Maybe we can just twist them together. Okay, so the connector is back on here, and now I have to thread the cable back in, and I want to just put it back into the little strain relief there is. So I managed to get this cable here through the cable guide. That's impossible to see, and it's very small. And then it comes out here, and then I can actually close the mirror again, because right now I have the mirror open, which requires quite a bit of force to do. So let's put the bottom back on, which is the first part to go on of the housing. Here we have a bottom with the built-in camera already. And let's see. First we thread the existing cable through for the mirror. Come on. Thread through. And we get this one in there, and then this one, and we try to thread everything in. Oh yeah, I see my new connector coming through here. Okay, now it's really on, and we see the connector here is kind of a bit short, but it will do. It's just here, just barely visible, but that's not the problem here, because we will just do a loop around here and connect this in, because we should have enough. Arrow to arrow. Nice and firmly connected. I will put some electric tape on it, not for insulation, but more to, you know, so the connector holds better together and it doesn't come undone when I don't want it. If I have enough space to put the electrical tape on. So this is in there. The connector comes around here and then goes back here, which I think is right. Good enough. Good. So this is on. Good, 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 good. This does not contain any wiring, so I can just slide it over. I'll make sure all the wiring goes inside where it needs to be. Good, 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 good. And the stay beneath. We will see about that. No, this goes in nicely. Okay. This snaps together really nicely. And maybe you can also see now that the camera sits just below this ridge here, and there's just enough space for it to not protrude. So yeah, this is kind of good here. The camera sitting down here where you cannot see it. Okay, and this wire here is good as well. Doesn't really interfere. Maybe I can even put it back here, but it doesn't matter because now I need to do the back. Well, no. Now I first need to do the screws. The back plate needs to go back on the back plate, and we do this. This goes on like this, I believe. Like this. Which means that this needs to go underneath, I think. This has the little cutout for the wire, and maybe this goes behind it, and then I think it goes here and here. Just make sure the camera wire is not in the way, because right now it kind of is. Now I got the camera wire out of the way, mostly, for the most part, because it can go underneath, so like this, and then I can put these screws back in. Let's put the mirror motor back in. Hello, camera. Okay, so the mirror glass, the top one is the green one. Doesn't matter. I don't think it does, but whatever. Top one is green, bottom one is red. Mirror's back on, and it needs to be clean because it's full of my fingerprints. Almost everything is done. I just need to secure the connector. Click. So this is it. The camera is installed in the mirror. So that's it, both cameras are installed in both mirrors and they both work, and it's cool that they do, but in hindsight I wouldn't do it again. It was a lot of work, not just the cameras but also the whole wiring thing. I did it, it's cool, it's probably the only Porsche 987.1 that has that, I reckon, but even then it's basically just a gimmick. But well, you know, it's done now, I'm not going to take it out, obviously, so this is what it is. But this is also the end of the video, it was long enough. Please let me know what you think of my install or what could I have made better. And basically, if you like the videos, leave a like, comment, whatever, share it with people who might be interested or foolish enough to do the whole job as well. And basically, this is the end of the video. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye.